Hello everyone, my name is Mina and I like to draw and ramble about things, and I have finally survived the whole ordeal where I decided to torture myself and finished a 31-day prompt of OC-tober. I know it's a bit late, but for me it was more important about actually doing these drawings rather than meeting deadlines, sort of thing. I know that's not professional, but art is a hobby for me anyway. Once again, thank you to @Stormif for providing the prompt list, and without further ado, let's begin. Okay then, so day 21 is family portrait, and I had this brilliant idea all planned out in my head, and then I realised it was major spoilers. And although it's pretty obvious to work out, I did not want to reveal a major plot point before I write the story. So instead I decided to redraw an image which is about a year old of Skylar and Mag. And it's actually reminiscent of, well, a family photo that, well, obviously my family has, because I'm not collecting random family photos of other people. But the context for these characters is that I can imagine it's probably taken outside the courtroom when Mag officially adopts Skylar and they get all like the papers sorted and stuff like that. So it's like a happy and sweet moment for the both of them, especially considering it was such a hard battle for Aunt Mag being a single parent. So it's definitely a victory worth celebrating. Families come in all shapes and sizes, and this one is small, but they certainly do love each other. Oh my gosh, that just reminds me of like that one scene in Lilo and Stitch, like near the end, where Stitch is like, Connor, and stuff like that. Okay, so I know I'm a little late towards this trend, but with today's prompt being a wanted poster, it was the perfect excuse for me to draw this trend. So here is a little bit of a silly and non-canonical drawing of my characters, but you know what, I had so much fun with drawing this prompt. I wonder what they got arrested for actually. No doubt Jerome got arrested by the fashion police for being simply too handsome. Wait a minute, I wouldn't write something like that. But in all seriousness though, knowing my little goobers, it would probably be awesome. I definitely like the inclusion of these two extra characters as well, although I have absolutely no idea what TV show they are from. I only know the Barbie ones. I thought Skylar's reaction would be funny if she was like really grumpy, but because for the reason that she got caught, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I got caught. It's probably because I did it with these idiots. And then Fern's like really upset and really paranoid because like he's the type of guy to cry over like stepping on a bug on purpose sort of thing, so he's really remorseful. And then Jerome sees this as the perfect opportunity to debut as being a model, and he shows them his iconic smolder. And Daisy's simply there chilling in the corner, just totally for the vibes. She definitely has no idea that arson is illegal and thinks this is just a fun free photo shoot. I really like these types of prompts. It's a fun way to explore your characters in different scenarios without like too much dedication sort of thing, because the inspiration and the pose reference is already there. Although this drawing does kind of look like that one Gorillaz album. That is another one I should totally do next. Oh, that would be so much fun. Okay, focus Mina. You still need to do this 31-day prompt. Just one thing at a time, okay? And I'm just realising now this is technically not a wanted poster, it's more of a mugshot. So just imagine like at the top of the screen there's a giant wanted. Just imagine they escaped after getting arrested. That sounds like something they would do. They're totally clever enough to do that. Why did my voice go American then? Anyway, I can imagine whatever the reward is, Jerome is like really disappointed. He's like, I am worth so much more than the price they're offering right there, and you are too, Daisy. Okay then, so this prompt was draw someone else's OC, so I decided to do one of my friend's OCs because she's also an artist. But if you really think about it, whenever you do fan art of a character, you are doing fan art of someone else's OC because, well, technically all these characters are just like the creator of a show's OCs. Like Star Wars is literally just George Lucas's OCs. I just find that mind-blowing and crazy. I don't know why, it tickles my brain in the right way. But the reason I decided to draw my friend's characters is because she gave the character characteristics that she likes, but it's actually characteristics, like some of the characteristics I have but don't like in myself. Like for example, her body type is quite rectangular and long, and that's my body type, and I don't really like that about myself, but she loves that, and that's why she gave that character that, and I just find that so interesting. And I find that like the beauty of humanity of art as well, how we can express things in different ways and find different things interesting and unique. Also, I really like this design because of like the orange and blue contrast, and it's one of my favorite complementary colors. So I really wanted to do like a hydro pop style, but my brain was just freezing and I did not have a lot of time, but I tried at least by using a bright blue to shade. Today's prompt was doodle page. I doodle my characters in my sketchbook and on like their character reference sheets all the time, and some of these I did copy and paste onto the canvas from my other drawings, but I promise you I did actually draw them, don't worry. And now it is time for the rambling to begin. Okay, so the black one in the top corner is Oakley just like absolutely bescotted with his wife Kat, who is currently committing murder in the background. And then the one along the bottom that's red and yellow is based on a true story actually. Basically, when I was like, until I was about 15, I genuinely thought fringes were genetic. And it's all because this one girl in my class had a fringe and so did her mom. So I just presumed, oh, you have to be like born with a fringe, you know, it's like straight or curly hair. It's like passed on through your parents. I can't believe I actually thought that for like almost 1.5 decades, but anyway. And then the orange and blue one is my OC Orion and Mag. He is such a grumpy grouch, I love him so much. And then in the bottom corner is Fern in a plant pot because he's so cute and his hair is shaped like a plant, so I thought that'd be a really cute idea. And then a funny interaction between Daisy and Skylar because they are such opposites. And then in the middle there is my favourite couple, it's Ivy and Daniel. Oh, I love them so much, they're so cute. And then there's some more of Orion being a grumpy grouch because he really is the black cat of my OC group. And then Oakley in love with Kat again, and then also he's being really sassy there because one of my biggest inspirations was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Specifically that one scene in the Clone Wars film where he's like having tea while there's like a war going on, like that is such Oakley coded. Okay then, so today's prompt was superhero AU, and this is another one of the art pieces where I just got stuck for a really long time, and it's actually the reason why I kind of disappeared for a couple days as well, because I just couldn't quite get Ivy's face right. Which is who I'm drawing in this picture, by the way. So I decided to draw my fantasy characters, which is Ivy in the green and then Oakley in like the brown colour as well. And the reason for that is because, well, they basically already have superpowers. Time for some OC info dumping. Basically the plant folk in my fantasy story, which is what their like species is called, they're a bit like benders in Avatar, but instead of like the 4 elements, it's different types of plants as well. So Ivy, who is one of my main characters, and the one in green here, she is the princess and the firstborn to the royal heir, so she's called an evergreen, which means they have the ability, a bit like the Avatar, to control all of them. However, her personal preference is vines, as suggested by her name, Ivy, and then Oakley, also as suggested by his name, I'm very creative with my names as you can tell, has the ability to control trees, specifically bark and stuff like that. But posing these guys was the hardest thing, especially because I tried to do Ivy like looking up, but like the camera is like a downward shot. It was, it boggled my brain a lot. I had to do it so many different times, and in the end I just copied Glen Keane, because when in doubt, copy Glen Keane. So she does look a lot like a Disney princess here, but you know what, that is my goal because that's what got me into art in the first place, drawing Disney princesses, so the fact that my OC can be one, that makes me happy. Okay then, so I haven't done my modern characters in a hot minute, so I'm gonna give them justice here. Also, my fantasy characters would not have access to a phone, so it makes sense for them to be taking a selfie. And it has made me realise that I have not drawn the gang together in a really long time, and even then I've only got one like digital art piece of the gang all together, so they deserve it as well. So today's prompt is selfie, and I thought I would do the gang taking a picture because, well, I was doom scrolling on Pinterest, no surprise there, and I saw this one where like it's 2 characters and one's like, oh my gosh, I love the by lighting, and then the other one's like, oh my gosh, it's like literally police sirens, like what are you talking about? And I feel like that is just so Jerome and the gang coded. So although I haven't wrote the speech there, I can imagine that's what Jerome's saying, and then the other character saying it's police sirens is probably Violet, who I actually haven't introduced yet, but don't worry, I will explain her a bit better in a next drawing because I actually give her justice. I can't believe I forgot about Violet, I'm so sorry. Also, I wanted this one to be a little bit of a sister or maybe prequel piece to another drawing where they're all holding a wanted poster sign, and well, it's because here they're taking a lovely group selfie photo after being caught in the act. It seems like very them. They don't have a good brain, so this is them performing that. So Daisy is a little bit upset at the front, Skylar's just happy that she's fulfilled one of her bucket lists, Jerome's taking this as the perfect photo opportunity, Violet is very annoyed, and Fern's just trying to keep the peace, despite being an anxious mess. Okay, so I teased her a little bit in the previous prompt, but I can't believe I have gone 27 days in this 31-day prompt challenge, and I have not drawn my character Violet. I mean, she's just so iconic, how could I not? Anyway, who actually is she, you're probably wondering. So Violet is my sassy queen, I love her so much, and her connection to the other characters is she's one of Daisy's close friends, but she actually grew up with Jerome because the twins are new to the town and like they moved in recently. However, she was born in the town which like the setting is placed, and she grew up with Jerome and definitely puts him in his place, you know, the type of like parent friend I guess sort of thing. And she also has a little bit of a connection with Fern as well. I feel like that's cute, you know. He has to hold her back a lot of the time though. And I don't know why I haven't drawn her because her story really connects to me a lot. You know, it's all about female friendships and stuff like that as well. And also I just love her because she is such a book nerd and she gets really passionate about her book characters as well. So as you can see, she's doing a very grumpy scroll here. She's probably just found out that her favourite character has gone for the wrong love interest and she's very mad about it. Or she's mad about the fact I gave her cat ears. Either one, I guess. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but fear not. This is not a self-obsessed shipping moment, I promise you, okay? I just saw this really funny picture that's been like floating around on Pinterest and stuff like that, and I thought that would so be Jerome reacting to the fact that he gets the girl in the previous story. However, I've decided to change that now. So basically when I first created these characters, Jerome and Daisy were canon. However, I've decided to like change that now, maybe like have it further down the line, because well, when you're 13, 17 seems a lot older than when you are 20. But just to clarify, Jerome is 18, so you know, I'm from England as well, so it's okay that he's drinking an entire bottle of wine. It's totally legal, just not healthy. But oh my gosh, for the longest time I've always wanted Jerome to look like conventionally attractive, but I'm not very good at drawing like male characters unless they look very young, and I actually did it here. Like, he actually kind of looks okay. This is like the best Jerome I've ever drawn and I'm so happy about it. Oh my gosh. And his hair is like, it's the perfect anime hair that I want, and I'm just happy with that. Yeah, progress. But oh my gosh, the old design looks so much like an emo vanilla milkshake. I don't know how else to describe it. What was younger me thinking? Okay then, so day 29's prompt is with a weapon. Okay, now before you say, but Mina, where is the actual weapon? I am so frustrated because I did actually draw another picture, but the time-lapse quality is absolutely terrible and it looks really pixelated, and I absolutely hate that, and I was tired, so I just did a simple like upper bust drawing because I was feeling really tired. And you know what, I just wanted to give myself a little bit of a break. But here's my character Orion with his absolute favourite weapon, a giant stick. So the reason I say that is there's actually like a lot of history behind this. So I was like drawing Orion, and I used a reference where the reference is holding a gun, but obviously he doesn't have a gun, and my friend was like, aren't you supposed to draw a gun? Why aren't you drawing that? And I was like, oh no, he has a stick. And yes, that's the terminology I used. And she was like, a stick? That's his weapon of choice, a stick? And it's been like a running joke ever since that he is really obsessed with his stick, even though it's not the best use of a weapon. It is supposed to be more of like a bow or a scythe, but yeah, we're going with stick for now. Okay then, so actual day 30's prompt is crossover. Ignore the fact that I completely wrote it wrong on the previous one. I didn't mention it, hoping that no one would notice it, but now I've just screwed myself over because I've just mentioned it. Anyway, who actually are these little goobers here? Allow me to introduce you to Fernie, my best boy. I love him so much. He's definitely not my favourite. I don't have favourites. What are you talking about? And my friends over at sea who is called Milo. And the reason I decided to draw these two together is because, well, they are just giving off the same energy and vibes, and I feel like if they did meet over, they would totally be friends. So they are both like the wholesome little bean in their friend group sort of thing. And so I can imagine if they did meet up, they would definitely be cozying up in a blanket and playing the Nintendo Switch together. Kind of like a parallel play scenario, where like they're doing two different things in the same room because they're enjoying one another's company rather than like, you know, needing to do everything every little second of the day. It actually reminds me of like this really cute song lyric, but I don't remember the artist or the actual song. That sounds like a very me thing to do, but it's like, I love doing nothing with you, in like a cozy cute way and not in like a spiteful ex way sort of thing. So yeah, I can imagine this would define their friendship, you know. Like they're just there chilling, maybe reading a book, but a different book each sort of thing. And it's kind of like my own friendship, I guess, with my friend who created this OC. We like chilling together and just having a relaxing time. And it actually reminds me of Studio Ghibli films as well, which is the vibes I want to create with my modern characters, you know, cozy and familiar, but still like that slight sense of like fantastical whimsy as well. So I decided to draw them in Fern's room with some little doodles in the background, which is probably Fern's like family photos. Like there's one of him and Daisy when they were younger, and then I bet Daisy probably like drew my friend's OC's characters like all together and saying, oh, you're our family now because we get on so well, sort of thing. Kind of like that found family trope that I absolutely eat up and serve as well. Okay, we're here. We finally made it to the last prompt, which is Masquerade Ball. And I'm not gonna lie, this prompt was definitely one of the motivators for me to do this whole 31-day list in the first place. I was like, oh my goodness, I've had this idea for my book for literally ages and I've just never got around to drawing it. But with all that excitement being said, I'm actually quite disappointed with the result on this one. And it's one of the reasons it took so long, because I just hit a really big I don't like this and I don't know how to fix it sort of thing. But you know what? Although I do have those moments, it also shows that I can definitely see my mistakes, and no doubt when I get better at art through like other practicing and stuff like that, I will look back at this piece and be able to redo it, knowing that, well, I will be happy with it one day. The idea is definitely still there and I do want to give it justice, and this isn't quite the justice, but it's something. I always like the expression, you just have to make it for now and you can always make it good later. And I completely forgot to say who these OCs are in the prompt for OC-tober. These are my two fantasy characters, Daniel and Ivy. They're a really cute couple, and this is definitely a pivotal scene in their relationship in the book I'm writing. But for now we'll leave it a bit of a mystery, I guess a bit like a masquerade ball. I'm proud of that one. Okay, wow, I actually managed to do it. Although it didn't take me 31 days, doing a 31-day prompt for the first time, I'm really shocked that I managed to do it, but also really proud of myself as well. I had a lot of fun making this, mainly because it was just an opportunity to ramble about my OCs. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who supported me on this journey, and those who left the comments as well in particular. It really made my day when I read them. But fear not, because although this challenge is over, I am definitely not done posting about my OCs. With all that being said, I hope you have a lovely day and bye!